So today we are going to implement dynamic IP allocation using a DHCP server, and we are going to learn about subnetting in this tutorial basically. So for subnetting, this is what the network we have. First of all, let's learn what subnetting is. So subnetting is a process which is applied when the number of hosts are greater than 255, so that does not suffice in a single IP address. So if you have an IP address like this 192.168.1.0/24, so that means there are 24 network bits and there are 8 host bits. So this there are the 8 host bits, so 2 power 8 hosts. So if there are hosts greater than 2 power 8, so we have to you don't have to buy a new IP address and waste IP addresses basically. So the method to allocate more hosts than a single IP address is to subnet the IP. So to subnet the IP, the following procedure is followed. First of all, we have to identify how many subnets do we have to divide our IP into. So here, for example, we take 4. So the formula for dividing the number into a number of subnets is this: number of subnets to power n, where n is number of bits. So number of bits here is 2 bits because we have to divide it into 4 subnets. So 2 bits. So 2 bits gives us pairs of 00, 001, 10, and 11. So that gives us 4 subnets, and this is how we will implement subnetting. So the first 24 bits as specified are the network bits, and the rest 8, out of which the first 2 will be allocated to the subnet, and the rest 6 will be allocated to the host. So here is how the network will be divided: 192.168.1.0, 192.168.64, 128, and 192. So here are our 4 networks. So I'm going to show you where they are placed in our network. So the first 0 to 64 network is here. The second 128 to 64 to 128 network is here. The third 128 to 192 is here, and 192, the rest of the IP addresses are allocated here. So first, what we want to do is, so for this part of the network, what we want to do is allocate the router 192.168.1.1, the switch 1.2, and the server 1.3. To do this, we follow the procedure like follows. I'll explain it. So first we go to the server, we go to the fast Ethernet 0. So basically the fast Ethernet 0 specifies the IP address of the DHCP server. So this is 1.3 as we wanted. The subnet mask is 192 as we divided the subnetting into like 26 network bits and stuff. The rest is gateway. So what a gateway is? A gateway is specified when the server encounters an unidentified packet. So what the server does is forwards the unidentified or the random packet to the router directly. So the router further processes the packet. So here is how it tackles packets that are unidentified. Now we come to the configuration of the multi-layer switch, to which we want to assign the point 2 address. So what we go to the command line interface of the multi-layer switch. We start by getting into the enable. So enable grants us a privilege permission to kind of change the IP addresses, assign it names and stuff into the multi-layer switch. So first we enter enable, get privilege. We configure the terminal. The terminal is a multi-layer switch. So we change the host name to switch 1 by using the host command. Now we interface the virtual LAN 1. VLAN 1 is used to enter into the management layers, is basically configure the management of the switch basically, and we keep it a no shut command to keep it active continuously. Later, now we interface VLAN 1, and now we allocate the IP address to the multi-layer switch, that is 192.168.1.2 as desired, and the subnet respectively. Exit to totally exit the multi-layer switch, and yes, this is how we configure the multi-layer switch. Thirdly, we come to the router. The router is the main part. Of this experiment, as the router controls the packet flow in this. So for the router, we start by the usual enable command to enter into the privileged mode. Then we go to the config T to enter into the terminal. We name name host R1 for the router, and now we interface the gigabit. Now what is the gigabit? The gigabit Ethernet connection is the connection between the router and the multi-layer switch. So this connection basically is the gigabit connection. So we are now interfacing the gigabit connection. So we interface gigabit connection 0/0/0 from here, and we keep it active. And then to check if it is active or not, we use the IP int brief command, which gives us the interface brief, that is things that are active or not, and here we get that this is up. Yeah. So the next part is to interface the serial command. Now what the serial command, for the serial command is between the router to router, so router to router has a serial connection, so we are now interfacing the serial. So to interface that, we use the interface serial 0/1/1 and then we keep it active as usual. So we have now interfaced that, into down, then we allocate the IP address 192.168.1.65 to point the other interface, that is we configured the gigabit interface at 0.1 and the serial interface at the 0.65. So this is the subnet, and then we end. Now we have to check the serial. So we check the serial by yes. This is where we check the serial, it is active, and we're done. And now the most important thing we have to do is IP route, the IP route command. So the IP route command basically, is basically to suggest the router to where to route the package basically. So we want this router to route the package to the 128.192 network. So what we will do is this, we will IP route 192.168.1.128, that is the destination, to this is the subnet, that is all, to 198.166. So this basically says that all packets that are generated from the 0.1 network will be forwarded first to the 66 network, and then they will be forwarded to the 128 network. So the connection flow goes from here to here to here. So that is the basic configuration of the routers. Now we switch to the configurations of the hosts basically. So for the host, what we do is, so we for the hosts we go to the desktop, we check the IP configuration first. So so here it is already DHCP assigned, so we'll to check that DHCP assigns or not, we switch it to static and then again DHCP. This will assign the DHCP address. So our DHCP server is working, and this PC has been assigned an address of 0.15. Okay. So this PC has been assigned an address of 0.15. Now we will do the same with this PC. Let's check the address, IP configuration. It is static, converted to DHCP. It is 140. So now what we will try to do is ping this 140 PC from here. So we go into the command prompt. I have already typed this ping command a few times, but let's do again. So what we do is this, and we change this to 140, enter, and this process shows that this PC is trying to send a packet to the other PC, the 140 PC that we just checked, and here we get the result. Sent 4, received 3, lost 1, that is basically only one is lost, and 3 packets are received, that is our connection is successful. And this shows that we have configured DHCP, that is dynamic IP addressing, and also we have subnetted this network into 4 parts, the networks being this and this, and eventually we have sent a packet from this PC to this PC, showing that the connection is established. And that is all for this experiment. Thank you guys.